Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We are in a different location today. I'm actually in my brother's room. I just really like the lighting. He's got a big lamp right here. He's got a big window right here. And he's not here right now, so I got a lot of space. Most of his stuff is moved out. So I thought it would be perfect for today. So today what I wanted to do is I just went to Hobby Lobby last night with my boyfriend and I wanted to show you what I got. So here's the bag. Hobby Lobby. So let's start with the basics. So I was out of this Stretch Magic string. This is the best string out there. This is the string that actually does not snap. So really needed some more of that. I only got one roll because I still have to use up my string that's still not as good of quality, but still decent quality. So I got this first. Next thing I got were a whole bunch of clay beads. So I got a huge palette. And once again, this is all from Hobby Lobby. It just says bead mix. This was about 16 bucks. And it has all of the clay beaded colors in my last palette, except it looks like for each color, it has way more clay beads, which is great because I've started making beaded necklaces too. This is not an example, this is just my own necklace. But I've started making clay beaded necklaces, so obviously because it's a necklace you need a lot more beads. And I noticed in my other clay beaded palette I basically use up one entire color making one necklace. So I feel like since there are more beads for each color, I will be able to use to make a lot more jewelry with this. And it's great because then I can make even more bracelets with these as well. So I got this palette, really excited about that. Next thing I got were these little jewelry storage bags. So these are just little plastic baggies that I'm going to start putting my jewelry in when I send it to you. So when you guys order off of my page on Etsy, I tell you guys I have like these little padded envelopes that I use, and I just put the bracelet in there, but I'm still going to use those, but I'm going to put the bracelets inside these little kind of Ziploc bags and then put it inside the padded envelope just to have a little bit more security. So yeah, so I'm excited to use these. All right, let's move on to the beads. Okay, so the beads I got besides the clay beads, first off, I bought 2 of each set just so I could at least make 2 bracelets. So this first one, this was $5.99. The brand is called Color Gallery by Bead Treasures, and this is 8mm, 21 pieces, and it's jasper. So this is what the beads look like. It's really pretty pink, black jasper beads, and they just look like that. And I got, like I said, I got 2 of those. All right, so the next beads I got 2 of these as well. They're pretty similar colors to the ones I just showed you, but a little bit different. So these were also $5.99 from the same brand. Also 8mm, 22 pieces, and these are rhodonite, I think I'm pronouncing that right, beads. So this is what they look like. So more dark purplish, pinkish hues, some black, some tan, but these are a little bit darker than the other ones. And I got 2 of those as well. All right. All right, the third collection of beads I got, these were $4.99. They're the same ones. They look like this. Same brand. These are 30 pieces. They're a little bit smaller than the ones I just showed you. And these are the 6mm dyed agate beads. I hope I'm pronouncing these correctly. This is what they look like. So you can see they're a lot smaller than the other ones, but very pretty colors. Brown, clear, tan, black, white, gray. Come in many different colors. And I got 2 of those as well. All right, so those are all of the beads that I got from Hobby Lobby. So today, I know this isn't a book channel, but I also kind of just wanted to show you some books that I just got. So a couple days ago, I went to Half Price Books with my boyfriend, and we got some things. And then today, I actually went to this book fair with my best friend. at her old middle school, and they were just selling a bunch of these books for like $2 a book. So I was like, whoa, we got to take advantage of this, right? So let me first show you what I got from Half Price Books / Amazon. But before I show you what I got, I have to tell you about this book that I've been reading. It's called Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. It's actually also a Netflix series, so I'm sure a lot of you have actually heard of this or seen the show. It's really good. It's about two best friends and basically how their lives change over the course of so many years. Sounds like a very simple topic, but so much happens in this book. I honestly cannot say a whole lot more without ruining anything, but it's so good. It's quite a big book. It's about 500 pages or so, but I just went on vacation with my best friend, and the entire time we were there, I just could not put this book down. It was so amazing. My friend was like, are you gonna get in the pool? Are you gonna get in the water at all? And I was like, after I finish this chapter. So I was just like really invested in this book. But let me read the synopsis to you so you guys have a better idea. All right. Spanning more than 3 decades and playing out across the ever-changing face of the Pacific Northwest, Firefly Lane is the best-selling story of 2 women and the friendship that defines their lives. In the turbulent summer of 1974, Kate Malarkey has accepted her place at the bottom of the 8th grade social food chain. Then, to her amazement, the coolest girl in the world moves in across the street and wants to be her friend. Tully Hart seems to have it all: beauty, brains, ambition. On the surface, they are as opposite as 2 people can be, but they make a pact to be best friends forever. By summer's end, they become, Tully and Kate, inseparable. For 30 years, Tully and Kate are there for each other, weathering the storms of friendship, jealousy, anger, resentment. They think they've survived it all until an unexpected betrayal puts their bond to the ultimate test. So I've actually not even gotten to the part about the unexpected betrayal, but I am very curious to figure out what that is. I have a couple of ideas, not gonna spoil anything, but like I said, it sounds like a very simple topic, just, 2 girls who are best friends, but like I said, a lot goes on in this book. A lot of drama, a lot of stuff like that. So if you're into that kind of stuff, I really think you would love this book. So it's by Kristen Hanna. I've talked about her before on this channel. She is my favorite author of all time. She's amazing, and I think you guys would really love her. If you guys want books that you cannot put down, please check out Kristen Hanna. She is amazing. So when I went to Half Price Books with my boyfriend, I meant to find the sequel to this book, Firefly Lane, because I didn't even know there was a sequel until I'm almost done with the book right now. I got a couple pages left, but I didn't even figure out there is a sequel. But there is, and it's called Fly Away. So I looked at Half Price Books, but I cannot find this. So my boyfriend, the sweet guy that he is, on the way home from Half Price Books, I didn't even know he was doing this. Apparently he went on Amazon and he ordered this for me because the next day I found it on my porch. And I was like, wait, he was the only one I told that I wanted this book. So obviously must have been him. So thank you, Will. It was so sweet of you. He's the best. But this is the sequel to Firefly Lane, and it's called Fly Away. So let me read you the synopsis. I haven't even really looked at it that much myself. I'm trying to not look too much into this because I'm afraid that, it's going to have spoilers before I finish the first book. But let me read you the synopsis. All right, so it says, as teenagers in the 70s, Tully Hart and Kate Malarkey were inseparable. Tully, with her makeup and her halter tops, was the coolest girl in school. Kate, with her glasses and her high-water jeans, was the geeky outsider. But chance and circumstance brought them together, and through the decades, they were devoted to each other. This was the story of Tully and Kate, best friends forever. But sometimes stories end, and it seems impossible to begin again. Now, years later, Tully is a woman appended by grief. She wants to fulfill her promise to Kate, to be there for Kate's children, but it's a promise she has no idea how to carry out. What does brash, never married, ambitious Tully know about being part of a family? Kate's daughter, 16-year-old Mara Ryan, is as lost as Tully. Alone and vulnerable, she meets a young man who takes her hand and leads her into his dangerous, shadowy world. Tully's mother, Dorothy Hart, is an unstable woman who abandoned her child too many times in the past and ultimately broke her heart. But now Tully needs her. Dorothy returns once more, desperate for a second chance to be a good mother, but Dorothy must face her darkest fears and reveal the terrible secret in her past. Only then can she become the mother her wounded daughter needs. Tragedy will bring these three grieving women together and set them on a journey of discovery. Each has lost her way, and they will need each other, and maybe a miracle to transform their lives and make them believe in life again. Ooh, this sounds really good. I'm really excited. So, I mean, I guess I should give you guys a little bit more context with Firefly Lane. So basically, the one girl, as you kind of already heard from the synopsis here, her name is Tully. She basically grew up with a mother who didn't seem to care about her at all. Her mother basically left her with her grandmother, and she would only come every couple years to visit, and then she eventually just stopped coming. And there was a period of time where Tully was living with her mother when her mother took her and actually stayed with her, but then she abandoned her again. So she's just abandoned her so many times throughout the book, and Tully cannot seem to shake the desire to have her mother love her. And no matter how many times her mother has let her down, she just can't seem to shake the desire to be loved by her mother, which is really sad. It's a really sad, unfortunate story. But basically, she's supposed to be like super pretty. Everyone likes her. She goes on to be a news reporter. She gets really successful, but then she ends up figuring out that her success and all the money she makes is not enough for her, and she wants more. And her best friend Kate, who she met when she was, I can't remember if it was middle or high school, she has a family and has all these kids, and Tully kind of envies that, and she wants that for herself. But then Kate, she envies Tully's beauty and all of the success. Like, she's very proud of her. And I know best friends, they shouldn't envy each other, but I guess, it's just what happens in the book. They do have, I know it doesn't sound like they have a good relationship, but they do have a very good relationship so far, until I don't know what's going to be the unexpected betrayal, but we'll find out. But overall, they have a great relationship. They love each other. They're very, very different people. Kate is a lot more reserved, a little more quiet, and she's a stay-at-home mom, and she always wanted a husband and a family, so that's always what she wanted, but I guess she always kind of envied, in a way, Tully's success. So it's like they both seem to want each other's lives at times, and they start to realize that what they originally wanted in the book might not be what they want anymore. Tully more so than Kate, but yeah, so it's really good. Really recommend it, and I'm really excited to read this next. So Firefly Lane is the first one, and Fly Away is the second one. All right. Okay, this next book is called The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. So I was also looking for this at Half Price Books, and I couldn't find it. And again, the great guy Will is my boyfriend. He also ordered me this one too. So he's the best. I really owe him. Thank you, Will. I love you. But he got me this as well. And I really wanted this book because I've heard a couple of YouTubers that I follow who are really into books and reading recommend this a lot. So one YouTuber I recommend, if you guys don't know who she is, her name is Haley Pham, and she's really great. Anytime I don't feel like reading, I'll just throw on one of her videos, and she just gets me in the mood because she'll have challenges she does. She'll be like, 24 hours reading nonstop, and I'm like, okay, if she can do 24 hours, I think I can just, sit down for a couple minutes to read, which I love to read, but just sometimes life gets busy, we don't have time. But yeah, but she is just such an inspiration. I really love her channel. Love the challenges she does, but she recommended this on her channel, so let me read you guys the synopsis. So it says, Casey Fletcher, a recently widowed actress trying to escape a streak of bad press, has retreated to the peace and quiet of her family's lake house in Vermont. Armed with a pair of binoculars and several bottles of bourbon, she passes the time watching Tom and Catherine Royce, the glamorous couple living in the house across the lake. They make for good viewing, a tech innovator. Tom is powerful, and a former model, Catherine, is gorgeous. One day on the lake, Casey saves Catherine from drowning, and the two strike up a budding friendship. But the more they get to know each other, and the longer Casey watches, it becomes clear that Catherine and Tom's marriage isn't as perfect as it appears. When Catherine suddenly vanishes, Casey immediately suspects Tom of foul play. What she doesn't realize is that there's more to the story than meets the eye, and that shocking secrets can lurk beneath the most placid of surfaces. So, sounds a little bit morbid, a little bit sad, but it's supposed to be a really good thriller, so I'm really excited. I used to be really into thriller books when I was younger. I read this great book, and I'm pretty sure in one of my previous YouTube videos I talked about it. It's called Deep and Dark and Dangerous, and it was actually about a girl and her cousin who went to this lake, and basically like they met this ghost. They didn't realize it was a ghost at first. Oh no, I just spoiled it. Oh, you know, I should cut this. Are you gonna read it, really? You should. You know what, I'm gonna cut this part. Maybe I won't, I don't know. But I read a book, I guess the only thing similar is that it's a house on the lake, and I'm sure there's probably, I don't know what this is gonna be, if it's gonna be like a murder mystery. I feel like that's kind of what it is, or if it has to do with ghosts. I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but it seems really interesting, and I'm really excited for this. So yeah. Alright, so the third book, and this is one I actually did get from Half Price Books. This is called Phantasma, I believe is how it's pronounced, by Kaylee Smith. So it does look a little bit dark. I think it's supposed to be a dark fantasy romance novel, but another one of my favorite YouTubers recommended this book to me. Her name, or her YouTube channel, is called Darling Desi. I just love her channel so much. She just does all these like projects to her house where she kind of turns her turns her house into like inspired TV show decor, and she's really into like vintage aesthetic cozy things. But yeah, she's great. I love her channel. Yeah, when fall comes around, she has the best fall inspired books, movies, shows, anything you can think of, cooking recipe ideas, fall decor, anything you can think of. She's great, really aesthetic. I just love her vibe, love her channel very much. But she's very good about recommending books, and on her channel she recommended this. I can't remember which video it was, but let me read the synopsis. So, it says, when Ophelia discovers her mother brutally murdered, there is no time to grieve. She has inherited the family's fearsome magic and enormous debt. Circumstances go from dire to deadly. However, when Ophelia's sister decides to pay off the loan by entering Phantasma, a competition where contestants rarely escape alive, and the victor is granted a single wish. The only way for Ophelia to save her sister is to win. But Phantasma is a cursed manor, full of twisting corridors and lavish ballrooms, staffed by enticing demons and fatal temptations, and Ophelia must conquer all 9 floors to succeed. Sorry, I can't talk. If her fears don't overtake her first. When a charming, arrogant stranger claims he can help, Ophelia knows better than to trust him. But with her sister's life on the line, Ophelia cannot afford to turn him away. She will just need to ignore the overwhelming dark attraction drawing them closer and closer together, because in Phantasma, the only thing deadlier than losing the game is losing your heart. Ooh. So, an interesting, dark fantasy romance novel. So, you know, I normally don't read things like this, but I'm very intrigued. Sounds good. And I'm kind of getting more into fantasy books. I was talking to one of my best friends, Tess, the other day, and we were both just talking about, I forget which fantasy book she was telling me about, but she said she's really into fantasy books, and I want to get more into them as well. But yeah, it's been so long since I've read a good one, you know, besides like Harry Potter, the series, which I was very late to the game with, by the way. Most people read that, you know, when they were a kid. I started it, I think my freshman year of college. So I was very late to the game, but it was very well worth it. I had watched the movies when I was younger, but after reading the books, the movies just made so much more sense. But yeah, love the movies. I also read this great series when I was a kid. It was called Fablehaven. Oh, there's like 5 books, and it's just one of those books where you just cannot put it down. And yeah, all I remember really, which I know I should remember more because it was amazing, but I don't even think I finished the series for some reason. The first book was for a school project, and then I didn't really have time to read the others, but I do want to find the rest and finish them. I might have finished the first and the second one. I think I got around to reading the second one, but I don't think I finished the rest of them. But such a good series, and each book it just gets longer and longer. So I think the last book is like at least 500 pages, but I'm pretty sure it's longer than that. I think it's longer than that. But yeah, it's so good. I just remember it's where these kids go to their grandparents' house, and then they discover all these secrets their grandparents have, and just this fantasy world they didn't know existed, where their grandparents live. I don't really remember, but I just remember it was amazing. Like, you know, a book or a series is good when you would rather read than watch TV. You know what I'm saying? So that was what that series, or what I read of the series, was like for me. So I want to get more into fantasy books, so I'm really excited about this. All right, so the next book I got was one that I got today at that book fair I was telling you about with my friend. So this is called Half in Love with Death, and I think this was only like $2 because, like I said, like most of the books there ranged from like $2 to $5. And apparently it's something they do every single year, so I'm definitely going to be going back next year. I'm really excited. And thank you, Emily, if you're watching, for taking me. It was so much fun. But what got me wasn't even what the synopsis of what the book was about, but I saw in the back one of the reviews said it's a suspenseful psychological thriller. So I was like, okay, I freaking love psychological thrillers, so this is right up my alley. But let me read you the synopsis. So it says, it's the era of peace and love in the 1960s, but nothing is peaceful in Caroline's life. Since her beautiful older sister just disappeared, 15-year-old Caroline might as well have disappeared too. She's invisible to her parents, who can't stop blaming each other. The police keep following up on leads, even Caroline knows they're foolish. The only one who seems to care about her is Tony, her sister's older boyfriend, who soothes Caroline's desperate heart every time he turns his magical blue eyes on her. Tony is convinced that the answer to Jess's disappearance is in California, the land of endless summer, among the runaways and flower children. Come with me, Tony says to Caroline, and we'll find her together. Tony is so loving, and all he cares about is bringing Jess home. So Caroline follows and closes the door behind her that may never open again, in a heartfelt thriller that never lets up. So, sounds like it might be like a romance. I don't know. It's kind of weird because it sounds like the romance is going to be between her sister's boyfriend and her sister who disappeared and the girl's sister. So, I don't know. It's a little weird. But, sounds interesting. And like I said, a psychological thriller. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. So, guys, I don't even know what order I'm going to read all these books. And I couldn't tell you. I mean, I want to read Fly Away next, the sequel to Firefly Lane, because it's the sequel. But I don't know. I've been reading so many Kristen Hanna books that I feel like I just need to choose a different author. You know, just take a little break and then come back to the sequel. So I might do that. I'm not sure. The one I want to read next is probably going to be The House Across the Lake. Or Phantasma. Or even this one. Oh, guys, I can't decide. Let me know in the comments below which one should I read next. Alright, the last book, this is nonfiction. It's totally nonfiction. Don't judge me, but I literally just bought History of the United States. That's it. So it's a really old book. So basically I got this because I took high school for granted, especially history class. When I was in high school, I did not like history that much except for very certain units we did. I liked learning about World War II and one other unit, and that was about it. And everything else, I just did not pay attention as well as I could have, you know? So now that I'm a teacher, I desperately miss learning as a student. I really miss it. And I realize how much now that I took learning for granted. So basically, I just want to read this and just brush up on some history that I may have overlooked or not really delved much into, or just any history that maybe I didn't pay attention to as well as I should have in high school. So, I mean, let's see. Yeah, so part 1 is just about the colonial period. Part 2 is conflict and independence with like the American Revolution, things like that. Part 3, the Union and national life, so like the formation of the Constitution. Part 4 is the West and Jacksonian democracy. Part 5 is democracy and conflict, so it's like the rise of the industrial system, the Civil War. Part 6 is about national growth and world politics. Interesting. 6. The next part is about progressive democracy and foreign relations. And I think that's about it. So, yeah, it's just got, you know, it's just like a regular textbook, kind of. It's got some pictures in it and stuff, but yeah, I'm just excited to brush up on some history that I may have forgotten about or don't know about as much. Probably a lot of it I've already learned in high school or should have, but yeah, so yeah, mostly, like, as you can see from my other books, I like fiction, but sometimes, you know, I like a good nonfiction book, just, you know, just brushing up on our history. I think it's important to know so we don't repeat it. All right, so those are all the books that I got and all of the beads that I got from Hobby Lobby. So in my next video, I probably will be making on camera with you guys bracelets using these new beads. So stay tuned for that. But I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here with me today. And let me know in the comments below which of the books you think I should read next after Firefly Lane and what you want to see next. All right, I love you guys. Bye.